the phone for.
So first item, do we have anybody from the public attending?
No, we do not.
Okay, then we'll move for approving the minutes from last month's meeting.
I didn't see anything wrong, so I motion to approve.
I'll
Second,
second that.
okay, we'll approve minutes as is. Monique did a great job, I said earlier. Thank you, Monique, wherever you are, for taking care of us last month.
I'll let her know.
And then approve the schedule for a meeting for calendar 2024. I was looking that over. I saw that we didn't have a meeting last July. Is that correct, Pete, Paul?
That is correct. So I mean, I can bring it up on the screen if you can share it if you want me to. Otherwise, we can just go ahead. It's your choice.
Oh, you can pull it up. I'm not sure if everybody's got a printout copy of it.
Basically, it was our normal meetings, and last July, Erica had said that we weren't going to have a meeting, so we didn't have one scheduled in July because of everybody vacations and stuff. So I didn't bother putting one on this time. And then also in this coming year in the 24, the meeting would fall on Christmas Eve. So I took the liberty of not scheduling that one either.
Yeah, the summer one usually is kind of tricky. Usually right around the holidays. I think it looks fine.
You can always add a supplemental meeting if we need it.
Yeah, we can modify as we go. So I'd say we can approve the calendar as posted. Then we'll move on to capital tree planting program for fall. You want to update us on that, Paul?
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted. That's it.
Okay, I stopped sharing the, everybody sees the full screen again?
Yeah,
Good. Okay. Basically, we've got 23 locations that have been asked for trees. At this point right now, there's probably over 250 on the list. I've staked out 162 of them to date. And with the additional ones that we have to do right now for Richards Avenue and a couple of other locations, and I know Sonia had asked me to come back and take a look at some more stuff down on Monroe Street in Madison. Between that, we will be well over 200 trees for the fall cycle.
great.
Very nice.
So question, Paul, NRVT. Are we able to actually do that? Or are they still under contract?
Yes. Yes, Olmsted was out there today with Louise Washer and Andrea Gardner from the NRVT. And we walked it, we staked it out last week, and Olmsted knows where everything's supposed to go. They will be doing the planting tomorrow, and that's the piece from Riverside Avenue down to Belvin Avenue.
And what's our primary species being used?
There's a variety of species on that. I can give you the list in just a second. We've got hornbeams, linden, silky gray dogwood, serviceberry, black walnut, swamp white oak, river birch, witch hazel, winterberry, flowering dogwoods, American sweet gum, red maple, choke cherry,
So it's a mix.
eastern redbud, eastern red cedar, northern bayberry. And then in order to complete it, they were short 3 trees, so we were going to do it out of ARPA money: the black tulip, the pin oak, and a sugar maple.
So is this based on just field walking, or did you develop a site plan for it?
They had put together a site plan with the NRVT when they applied for the grant. And I know Mike Yostock was involved with that before he left. So we were finishing up one that he had started. So that's where this came from.
Because I had gotten a plan set from Mike Yostock before he left, and it did not include any planting.
Okay, it did at that point in time. I think he had developed it or with the River Valley Trail Group and also with Louise Washer and the River Watershed, the whole group.
That's fine.
There's a variety, wide variety.
Yeah, almost too much. Yes, Jeff, Jeff's shaking his head. We're a bit of a smorgasbord.
On some of those species, can the contractor get them? I guess it's Olmsted in this case. Like
Yes.
the
In this
cherry,
case, that went to Olmsted, and they told me they could get everything, and if there was an issue or two, they were gonna let me know, but they didn't see any major issues at this point.
like the black cherries are hard to come by.
Yeah,
I think
And
you
it-
call it choke
that-
cherry.
if they were okay with it, if it went to the spring, it went to the spring.
Oh, okay. Gives them more time to source it.
My concern is always the aesthetic value along Riverside, so. And you have
Yeah,
the
the
power,
mono,
you have the power
ahead.
lines as well that, you know, make it a challenge.
When is that trail work completed? I saw them doing the boardwalk section along Riverside.
That I'm not totally sure of, but the areas that were to be planted are totally done.
Yeah,
And then this is south of the boardwalk that you're talking about.
yeah.
This
Where
is
it
all
goes
south of Casatelli tile.
Where it starts to go underneath Route Super 7.
Yes,
Yep. I think we'll have future Arbor Day jobs up there for the tree companies.
there's more to do and, no, before Peter asks, no, we did not let him plant under the bridge.
Yeah, good. Need
So
extra watering there.
So my next question was, is there a watering plan in place for the spring?
That was one of the reasons that they asked us to use Olmsted to do this is so that Olmsted will be able to do the watering for the 2 years. Get them
Because that-
established.
I don't know who's gonna do the weeding, but at least we got the watering in place.
Yeah, that was one of the driving forces of having it done through the contract so that it would be taken care of.
Makes sense.
And then the other part is just above where we had done work for the Arbor Day cleanup last year. But what we made sure of is the trees, there's 18 trees that are going from Union Park to Arch. Those are on the opposite side of the highway. So the work that would need to be done for any more cleanup is on the highway side of the trail. So it could still be done without damaging any newer trees.
So that doesn't take into account the overpass where we cleared those corners of on the state property, does it?
That all still has to be done. I'll be coming to see Mr. Peters soon about that.
That was-
Clean it up. Got a couple more trees out.
Yeah, there might be a couple more gotta come out, actually.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to do is if there was more stuff that needed to be done there, I wanted to get the plan done. So that we could take that to the state to get the permit because they said before we can plant anything, they wanted to see a plan so that we could get the permit.
Alright, so you'll have to pull a scale aerial or whatever you got from the city.
Yes, I'll send it to you.
Awesome.
But that gives you a wide variety of locations and a variety of the city and also through a variety of funding sources for the capital program. And then the replacements, there are things that I've got Olmsted and Minutemen working on too. A couple of areas down on MLK. They've got a couple of trees over on Woodchuck that need to be replaced, so they'll be doing those.
Great.
Paul, I just sent over the diagram for the Van Dyke stretch of MLK Drive that we spoke about on Saturday at the Touch a Truck event.
That's good. We'll add more to it, then that'll probably put us maybe closer to 220, 225.
Yeah, that one had opportunity for about 17 potentially on both sides of the street there.
And if you gave me
Obviously,
this,
you have to confirm that.
if you gave me the species, I'll go with those and then I'll place that order next week.
Okay.
Great. And then you got replacements, the companies are working on those still?
Yes.
Are there any holdups with like sourcing some of the replacement trees, or is it just they're waiting for the fall cycle to put them in?
Yeah, they were good waiting for the fall cycle. I haven't heard of anything. I talked to Gary and Jordan Grant. And both of them were aware of what they had to be done and they were working on it. And I think some of the reason it hasn't been done yet is just because both of them were so busy.
Now might be a good time, put a little pressure on them if we're issuing new purchase orders for the fall planting.
I talked to both of them on Saturday.
You can say that the vice chair brought it up. Would
Yeah,
like
I
to
will.
see the
I got-
replacements done before new trees are purchased. Makes it a little more important to them.
Yeah, I kind of stress it a little bit with them, but I'll mention that. I'm glad actually you mentioned it because that's exactly what I'll say to them. It was brought up at the meeting. So
Yeah.
more pressure on both of them.
But yeah, otherwise they tend to fall off at the end. They do all the new purchase orders and then the replacements still aren't done. It gets a little annoying.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there
next
any update
item.
with that one on Woodward Park? Rich or Paul?
That's another one of them too. Yes.
That one's out of warranty, so that's a replacement tree. Should just be considered like a new tree planting, because that was well out of warranty. That was from the initial planting we did way back.
Yeah, that was on the list for new trees, not
Yeah, new
replacement,
tree.
to be clear. Yeah. So
Yeah.
It was being taken care of, but not through a replacement because like Rich said, it was out of warranty.
Yeah, it should be replaced, but we got to pay for that one. Okay, and then next item, online tree planting requests.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen just a second to show you guys something. As part of the grants that we had through the Economic and Community Development, Jessica Vanashek, we had talked about wanting to include the public and make sure that they were included in the opportunity to get trees. And I know, Rich, you had attended a meeting where we tried to do a workshop to see where people wanted trees through
Yep.
that grant in the Martin Luther King corridor. So in talking about that, we led to actually, maybe let's try and do something else for people to get to a form online for the overall tree planting program too. So we did something that was announced when the mayor announced that we had received the $1 million grant through Rexon Park a couple Fridays ago. So when we did that, we announced also that there was going to be an online form for people to apply to get trees, as well as the normal way that we've been doing them in the past. So I'm going to share my screen for just a minute because I want to go through and I want to basically show you how we can end up getting to this form through the city website.
Nothing
Can you
coming
guys
up
see the
yet.
screen?
Nope, nothing up yet.
No, we
No.
still,
Let me go back and share it.
Hey, Paul, this is Edith. Before, I actually had, this is my first meeting. Can you do a quick introduction? I'm not really sure who everybody on the call is, and that will be helpful for me.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that right now here. Before I share the screen, let me do that so we can, everybody can see it. Basically, under item number 9, we've been including on the agenda for the tree liaisons to have input where they could, if they're working on plans. So I know Eric had talked in the previously about including some of them, and we're going to add the group that we had. So right now, at this point in time, we have 3 tree liaisons that wanted to participate in the meetings. So I'm going to go around and I just introduce everybody. Edith is from the Tyrone Drive, and she has requested to access to be able to get to tree planting programs in that area and expressed interest in becoming a tree liaison for that area of town over in the eastern section of Norwalk. So Edith, and then obviously everybody knows Gay McLeod too, from West Norwalk. Rich Whitehead is the vice chair of the meeting.
Hello, nice to
Hello.
see you, Edith.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And Sonia Oliver is one of the committee members. Peter Vidaretto is a committee member also. Jeff
Okay.
Shear is from the Norwalk Tree Alliance,
El
Hi,
Presidente.
Edith.
Hello.
which
Just
is a
taking
volunteer
notes.
group that's affiliated with the Tree Advisory Committee that we do a lot of work with hand in hand. And then Gay McLeod, as I mentioned, is from West Norwalk and was a previous vice chair of the committee and is now come back as a tree liaison again.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Welcome.
And by the way, I actually reached out to the town because we live in a cul-de-sac and and the cul-de-sac is basically bare. There's no trees. So I reached out and Paul was kind enough to return my emails and call backs. And this is how we came about the partnership for this initiative with the city. And I think it's a great program. So I'm really happy to be part of this committee.
Well, we're happy to have you on board.
Welcome.
Better.
Thank you.
And we are going back to try and share the screen again. Get out of that. Giving me some issues right now. All right. Share the screen. Can everybody see the screen?
No, it's not coming up, just a Zoom meeting message.
Hey, all right, good. That's what I wanted. Yep, I'm gonna go to the city website.
Paul, you need to open what you're gonna share first and then share it.
We're seeing the website now.
Call from Valrenti, Bryce. Call from Valrenti, Bryce.
Can somebody mute whoever has their phone ringing?
Yes, sorry.
That's okay.
Can you see the city website?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. What I want to do is I want to get over to we are having some technical difficulties with the smart board tonight. All right, if we were to go into the city website and you went down to Public Works. And then you went into operations. Under the tree planting program. You see the online tree planting request form?
Yep.
Lindsay King from the IT department worked to create this form for us. So she did a great job in it. We had some input for staff.
Can you scroll down?
I think Paul
Yeah.
jumped off.
Yeah, he lost his connection.
We lost
Oh.
Paul.
Oh, no.
Have to call back in. Rich, it's on you now, Rich.
We might defer that item till next month when Erica's back. Paul, you gotta call back in.
Well, he's not on. He can't hear you.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like Willy Wonka. He's up in the digital cloud somewhere.
I might have to text him.
Maybe Jeff, you're up. Let's give a second.
Oh, God.
No, we'll skip the update on the water. I think the water has been fine actually with all the rain. But I know next up we had the Olmsted and Minuteman tree watering. I think Mother Nature has been covering that aspect this fall and summer. And if they get the new trees in the ground and the weather stays the way it's been, they'll be in really good shape. If it stays the way it's been in the winter, we all won't be in good shape though. We'll be buried with snow.
All right.
So next item, Edith and Gay, this is tree liaison update. So this is when we ask liaisons if they want to update us on any projects or anything that they've been working on. I know Gay's been working over on Richards Avenue. Gay, I'm going to turn it over to you first.
Oh, okay, thank you. So secure tree plantings, as I started talking before the meeting began, there's 3 Jewish cemeteries. This is all along Richards Avenue, and also the United Congregational Church right on Richards Avenue. Most of the cemeteries were able to plant, and I know Paul's been out there stalking. He's just coming on, I think. Paul's been out there staking. He's with us, staking all along there. And then I think tomorrow we're going to work on the Congregational Church, which is on the inside of the stone wall. And Richard, we're following your proposal of what we did along the Catholic cemetery of oaks, maples, and tulip trees, and continuing that so it has a nice canopy and a nice look along the way. We've made certain exceptions based on the requests of the people at the various cemeteries. And at the church itself, the church wants some apple trees planted because there used to be an old apple orchard there. And so we're going to plant a couple of apple trees right by the parking section. And there's a cedar tree request for the Jewish cemetery right across from the Norwalk Community College, which was something that was there before and we had to take it down because it was sort of entwined in the fence, but it was a special request to be shaded over a headstone. And the others are pretty standard about what we're doing for the other 2 Jewish cemeteries. The conservative cemetery is going to have a dogwood tree, but again, they're going to follow through the site planting of the oaks, maples, and the tulip trees. In addition to that, I had talked to Paul about this before Eversource started clearing away under the power lines to add a couple of trees along there. But they've been very busy chopping everything down. So we're going to wait until that project is done, see what damage has been done, and then see if we can add some trees right along the street, close to the street, not getting anywhere near the high tension wires. And then I also made a suggestion of for the public library on Belden Avenue. There are 2 trees that can be planted right in front of the library. I think they were old trees at one time and they fell down. And also within facing the library, there's the parking lot there. And there's a divider there, which has ample room for trees to be planted along there. And then I also made a suggestion of along Fox Lane School, Little Fox School, to do the along the perimeter, sort of filling in spaces that had either died or been knocked down by cars or something. There's a lot of gaping areas since I think we started that almost 10 years ago, to see if we can fill in something along there. So that's it for now.
The projects that Gay was talking about, we've already started to look at that. On the southern end of Richards Avenue below West Cedar Street, in that intersection, we're working it in with the Transportation Mobility and Parking Department, because TMP is going to have a project there at some point for sidewalks. So we've got to be careful where we put the trees. We're putting them back near the fence so the sidewalks can go out front, because in that area there are gas lines actually right just on back of the telephone poles there. So we're going to work it out with a meandering sidewalk that would go around the poles, and then we'll space the trees accordingly. And then further down, as Jay said, we were working on the other areas. So this week, those will all be staked out and ordered. And as far as the high tension wires and Eversource, we've had some more conversations with them again, with what they're doing out there overall. And we've expressed our displeasure at several of the areas. I'll leave it at that. So we've been in contact with them fairly regularly lately.
It seems like when I've seen them doing that clearing beneath the transmission or distribution lines, whatever you want to call them. Seems like they went wider this time than what they had in the past. Have they confirmed that?
It appears that they have, and it's in talking with several people from the high wire transmission lines department versus the actual local residential lines that you have in the streets for the local power distribution, the 2 different groups. This group seems to be a little more aggressive in what they've been doing lately. And as I said, I was on the phone with them a couple times. Chris Torrey and I have talked with them and let them know that we were not happy with some of the stuff that they were doing, and tried to get a little better handle on them and what they were doing and why they were doing it, and make them explain why they were so aggressive this time. But a couple of the areas that we had a talk with them about, they actually were on their own parcels, because the area between West Cedar Street and Route 1 where they were doing work, they actually own the parcel, which is different than just an easement through properties. So we've been in contact with them on a variety of, just on that note, just to talk with them about their methods and also things that they should have been doing that they haven't been doing.
It's also changing of the guard. I'm noticing that it's not the same players that used to be with Eversource. The Olmsted Tree guys they're different. So you have a newer staff coming in. They don't have the history of working with the city. So being on them is probably going to be required moving forward.
Yeah, and like I said, working with Sam Burr in the local distribution lines versus the high tension transmission lines, it's 2 different groups totally. And Edith, I just want to introduce you again, just to basically say thank you for getting involved, and thank you for being interested to start with the project. Why don't you just talk a little bit about what you've been working on with Tyrone Drive?
Well, hasn't been, well, I'm really looking forward to working with you and your team. So what I've been doing is I actually reached out to our neighbors and to let them know that I've been working with you and this program, the tree program the city has. And so I met with them over the weekend, and they are looking forward to getting the trees. And so my question now is, in addition to our cul-de-sac, what is my role? Is it to reach out to other neighbors, or maybe Gail, you can elaborate on next time? Sounds like you've been on this committee for a while. So what is what's expected of me.
I'll go
trees.
roughly what we have as your role, but I can let Gay fill in some of the gaps too, since she's been doing it for a while, and she started as a tree liaison. Basically, is your neighborhood plus that area, if you see areas where trees need to be planted, or you recognize spots that trees could be planted, and it doesn't only have to be your neighborhood. If you
Okay.
see something, let us know. Looks like a good spot, and at that point, follow up and pursue with the people. If there's owners in that area, or if there's businesses where you think that trees would be a help,
Okay,
talk and work with them, and basically do like you did on your street, go around, get the species if we've got a pretty good idea of what we want to do, and then also get the forms signed for the permissions if it happens to be on private property. If it's not, then you don't need those. But if it is right away, you would just basically get kind of information as to what they would like to see in front of their properties.
okay,
So Edith, I could help you a little bit more about that if you want to go offline and reach to me by email, because I've already composed a letter. So it's always good to make the phone call, follow through with the written letter if they don't have
okay,
emails, the conversations, give me a little bit about background about what we do, how to improve their property, along those lines. And it sometimes takes a while getting people to respond back, but once they understand who and what we are, it's usually positive. So we can talk more about it offline.
I would, yeah, I would appreciate that. Okay, perfect, thank you.
To Gay's point, sometimes it does take persistence. She wanted to see work done on Richards Avenue at St. John's Cemetery. God, it must have been 10 years ago. And about 4 or 5 years ago, we were actually able to make it happen.
It takes time, Edith. It doesn't happen quickly.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
And there's gonna be a form online that you can direct them to at the city website pretty soon.
Where I just was, those forms underneath that online request form, those are all of the 3 forms that we utilized that I gave you, and you did a
Yep.
great job with the permissions that you'd already gotten. So that's exactly what we need.
No, yeah, I don't have a problem. Yeah, I will definitely do that. Yeah, I just really wanted to understand what my role is gonna be moving forward, so, yeah, I'm looking forward to working with the team.
Great.
Welcome to the group, and thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to do it. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Hey,
Well,
could I-
I'm gonna take before and after pictures of our neighborhood.
That's actually a good idea.
Nice.
And
then
could I just, Paul,
Hmm?
can I cut you off for a sec? Just one thing. I just wanted to say that I really commend the city. I've been in Norwalk for about 4 years. I know that this has been something that you all have pushed for a while. People, so I'm the president of the Norwalk Tree Alliance, and just seeing the city's mindset of the importance of trees has really, I wouldn't say the mindset has shifted, because we've been here. You all have been here pushing for it, so we know the importance of trees. But it's the amount of trees that have been going in recently is just awesome to see. So there's been some sort of shift in getting the trees in the ground since I've been here, in the short time I've been here, and that's been really encouraging. So it could hope to keep that going.
And do we have a timeline? How long is this program for? Has it been ongoing, or do we have funding to continue to add trees?
This program was reconstituted in about 2003, 2004, and has been going on ever since. And just to give you an idea, and to Jeff's point, the key thing is funding. We've been getting a lot more money due to the current administration and grants for funding for trees from what was basically, $50,000 a year for planting 2 cycles of trees. And it went to 65,000. And now with some of the grants that we've gotten almost $1 million over the last couple of years. So a
That's
big
great.
difference in the funding, which has really helped. But the program has been going on for many years.
And how do you get more people involved? I mean, our city, I don't even know the population, I think is over 80,000, right? But how do we spread the word that we have this program? And is it just
Great
word of mouth
question.
or?
We've been trying to do that for years, and one of the previous directors that Rich and Gay and Peter and I worked with many times said, try and get the kids involved, get the students interested in the trees, and they'll bring the parents. And I'll talk about something in a couple minutes. That was the case just on Saturday too.
Mhm.
A lot of people showed up because the kids brought the parents with them.
Edith,
Yeah.
how did you hear about it,
Oh,
if you don't mind me asking?
Me? Like I said, I've lived here for over 25 years, and our cul-de-sac, it's bare, like, there's a big circle, and we have the city that it doesn't belong to any, it belongs to the city. So I've always saw the city come and they plow, they cut the grass. And I asked one of the gentlemen to do, I just want to plant one tree. I said, we'll pay for it. And I said, and we'll take care of it. And he basically said, no, I believe, oh, he said, you can't do that. It belong, the area belongs to the city, so you have to contact. So I made a couple of calls to City Hall, and I reached out, and then Paul, I think you were out over the summer, and then you contacted me and said, hey, this is what we have. We have a program, and we basically provide the trees. I'm like, oh, okay, that's perfect. I mean, we were willing to buy the tree and take care of the tree because we have a lot of young families now. And they're always outside. And my vision was like, oh, I would love to have a nice tree for the kids just to have a bench, and for the families just to come and just enjoy our cul-de-sac, because we have two cul-de-sacs. One is Norwalk and the other one Westport. So we have a whole bunch of young families on both sizes. So I think it will look really pretty. And Paul came out and did an assessment, and based on the location, I think he recommended 3 trees. And just, we're already, like, the whole neighborhood's already, I talked to them about it, and they're very excited. They're already seeing like a vision, like, oh my God, I can't wait till the trees get tall and we can put a bench, we can do this, we can do that. So no, I didn't have a problem. All our neighbors really welcomed the opportunity to be able to work together. So, and even after the 2 years, my husband and I said that we will take care of the tree and the neighbors too. So,
Great.
And Sally Johnson, the mayor's executive secretary, had sent me an email that Edith had gotten in touch with her, and that's how she ended up getting to me.
yeah, and I don't have a problem. I would love to talk to our neighbors on County or William Street and share this information. I think they'll welcome the opportunity to have trees in their neighborhoods.
but
So
Edith,
I,
you made a really good point, because years ago, we used to connect with the various associations and reach out to them. There's the West Norwalk Association, and a lot of areas of Norwalk had them in those times, and
Mhm.
connect with whoever was running it and talk about the program. And we had a better response. We had more tree liaisons than I think we recently have now. So it's a valid point. Maybe we should try that effort yet again, especially since we have more money now than we ever did before, and see.
maybe using social media too, right?
True. Good idea.
So I
And-
think
Yeah.
that will definitely get more interest, and I think get more people involved. I mean, I think we have such a beautiful city. We have so much to offer, but just getting involved. I think that's basically what we need to do.
And
If we're looking
Chairperson,
for a
I tried
nonprofit,
to-
we're here.
What was that?
I said, if we're looking for a nonprofit, the Norwalk Tree Alliance is a nice way to kind of ease into it. And then
Okay,
the tree advisory committee and us do work hand in hand. So if they want to, come to the big leagues and go to the TAC, they can sort of ease their way into it, the Tree Alliance, and sort of learn everything
and
potentially.
do you have hey Jeff, do you have a website?
Yeah, NorwalkTreeAlliance.com.
Okay, that's okay.
And Chairperson Kip has wanted to reconstitute the liaison program too. So I know that was an important thing to try and start to rebuild that program in the various neighborhood associations. And on that note, we've got an additional person that's also expressed interest. He said he could not be here tonight, but he will be attending in the future too. Mr. Don Grauer from Westport Avenue area too. He said he's interested in trying to see if things can be done in that whole area, plus the side streets around Westport Avenue. So he will be joining us in the future as a tree liaison also.
Right. Westport Avenue is a challenge. That's a good one.
Especially with the state property too.
Yeah, that's harder.
difficult.
Good to have somebody from the area participating. All right, well, thank you both, Gay and Edith, and welcome, and thank you both for all your hard work.
Well, thank you for inviting me. And Jeff, yes, if you can just share your email or your contact information, we'll love to see if we can get in touch. And I mean, I will do my part. I don't have a problem speaking, reaching out to people, and I can do that.
Yeah, no, it's just I was just piggybacking on the fact that it's just difficult to find people who are interested, but there are so many people out there. So there's just two avenues, and we all work together. So
Okay, good.
Okay, next up on the agenda, Tree City USA preparation, Paul?
Okay, I'm gonna be starting to put the application together for the recertification for our Tree City USA, which would make it the 20th year, as well as the Growth Award, which would make it the 18th year. I will be working on that during the month of December. So if Jeff, if you can send me any of the information that we usually ask for the financials and the number of trees planted, that would be helpful. Just wanted to bring that up and put it on the radar for everybody, because we will be starting that process again.
I have a quick question. Have we taken like before and after pictures? Is there like a website that people can say, hey, this is, we planted this tree, and I'm just saying 10 years ago, and this is what it looks like now? And
Yes, we've got a lot of those, because after we plant trees during the tree planting program that we mentioned for the capital program, we are geolocating those and putting them into our GIS. So every one of the trees, like we planted 294 trees in the spring, every one has been geolocated. And if you were to go into a section of that GIS program, we can click on it and we actually can see the picture that was taken when it was planted. So
Okay.
yes, the
Paul,
date, all the information.
Paul, a question on the tree application. This year has been a bonus because of the grants, $1 million. How do you put that in there so that it's not too difficult to up it next year? In other words, as Jeff has says, this is the last year's been been wonderful to plant this many trees, but growth is based on growth. So how do you couch that because of the funding? I don't know how, because you put the application together. I'm just putting that caution out there.
What do you mean with the Tree City USA or the grant? Which ones are you talking about?
I'm sorry, Tree City USA.
Well, basically, we'll put the stuff in as it's happened, and they realize if we've got different funding mechanisms than we normally do, we'll put in exactly what's happening, and it may not be consistent from year to year. But if they see the program growing and there's a variety of different categories that you can show growth in, you need 10 points, and there's a variety of different categories, and we usually have about 13 to 14 points. Well, this year, one of the things is that, remember me mentioning the tree management plan that was in the process of being done last month? That's something that's worth a large amount of points when the city does that. So that'll probably get us 5 to 7 points alone this year. So you go by what exactly you've had, and you don't necessarily have to just go by funding alone. One of the examples would also be the number of trees planted. So this particular year, we'd show a lot of growth in the number of trees planted from one year to the next. But there's a variety of categories that you can go for the growth award in. So next year, you might not exceed what you planted the year before in trees. So you don't pick that category. You might have other areas that you did other things in, like this year we had the tree management plan.
Okay.
Okay, the next up, update on the open house from last weekend.
Just wanted to let everyone know that we had an exceptional day down there. We had 1,000 people approximately that came to the open house, and it seemed like the kids did bring the parents with them, and they were all over. There was a variety of different things from the police, fire. We had our normal DPW items. We had the unveiling of the first electric vehicle, totally electric. fleet vehicle the other day down at the ceremony. We've had Parks and Rec had a demonstration this year. Plus, we had all of our normal tree activities that we've had in the past. And I want to thank Peter for the job that he did at the Tree Advisory Committee table. He did a great job in volunteering his time that day and explaining the program. Jeff was there. That was great for the Tree Alliance. And then we also had the two tree contractors, Minutemen, brought an arborvitae tree, and Olmsted again brought a red maple tree, and they had giveaways and things that they were doing. So engineering had a display, TMP had a display, so it was a variety of different activities and different exhibits across the board for the city. So it was probably the largest attendance that we've ever had.
Great to hear. Then update from Tree Alliance, Jeff.
Yeah, not too much to update. We're continuing planting trees. We just planted 4 new ones down in Bell Island. We're trying to get towards like the coastal areas to help out for coastal erosion and things like that. We're continuing to move ahead with trying to get into paved areas and reducing the heat island effect. So we're continuing those efforts and just trying to get in touch with local businesses and getting trees in their parking lots. And then one of them was, for example, the Van Dyke recycling plant down on Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. And so we're looking to plant a couple of shade trees in the parking lot, and also some serviceberry to provide some winter food and berries for birds and such. And then what came of that is that there's also ample space to plant along the street, which I spoke to Paul and Peter about on Saturday. So hopefully we can get some significant amount of trees down there to create like a nice alley and along the southern part of that road. And then we have our elections coming up in October at our next meeting, so this Thursday. And then we'll have our holiday open house at Fodor Farm sometime in December. So we'll be planning that.
Awesome.
And you all are invited. I extend the invitation to you all. I just have to get you the date.
They give us
Last year it was really nice.
Thank you, Jeff.
And
And
this
A
is
rerun for president.
how we work together with, they're working in the private property, and then we'll do the work in the right of way and tag team off of each other.
Okay,
And we provide education, an educational component that helps with that's needed for the Tree City USA application as well.
And I hear they're gonna have a remote or a movable classroom moving around the city. It's pink.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll have
It's an
some pop-up
inside joke.
locations.
Pop-up locations for educational facilities, yes.
Exactly.
Working on a concept with Jeff.
And that's it for the Tree Alliance. If anybody's looking to run for president of the Tree Alliance, send in your applications
Quickly, just quickly.
quickly, by tomorrow.
a lot of people. No, that's really good. Anything else on the agenda?
Just for right now, we're on other business. If there is anything else, if anybody has it, now's the time.
Just as usual, our friends in front of the Norwalk Indian Conference Center cropped the elms yet again.
Did they again?
They're terrible, absolutely terrible.
They were getting big too. How did they cut them hard?
Oh, ugly. They're only cut, they look ugly.
I thought they were leaving them alone there for a while because they actually got to be a pretty good size.
Is that by
Unless
the inn,
it's
Peter?
fruit. Huh?
Is that by the Norwalk Inn?
Yeah. Close to the green.
So we'll
They
see.
should have stepped them in a little further away from the wires, but they're pruning them, I think, to keep them like balls.
They're pruning them incorrectly, we
Yeah,
understand.
incorrectly.
We
They're not laying
planted,
up and over the wire.
Now, Paul, those are not in the right of way, are they? They are there.
No. They're on private property.
we planted 4 red oaks, northern red oaks, and the church on the green, St. Paul's Church on the green.
Yes.
So hopefully it's not going to offset any of that, but we'll get some more trees in around that area. Hopefully.
Yeah, good. Okay, I think that concludes it then, everybody. Thank you very much for attending. Everybody have a great Halloween.
Boo.
Yes.
You all too. Thank you.
Have a good
Look forward
night.
to seeing some new
Thank
trees
you.
going in the ground.
Boo.
Good night.
Thank you.